earn that merge buff, and in addition, a merge meal. It's yours, no twist, no player gonna take it away.
Survivor 43 has come and gone, and although you're probably already looking ahead to the promising future with Survivor 44, I think it's equally as important for us to all reflect and look back on the season that we just saw play out. I'm not really one to jump the gun early on my takes on Survivor seasons, but screw it, Survivor 43 was tons of fun. Not only was Survivor 43 a worthy successor to its highly acclaimed predecessor Survivor 42, it also improves on what didn't work in Survivor 41. I would even call this season a flawed masterpiece. Hey, what's up? Welcome back to Survivor Retrospective. Not gonna lie, it feels really weird to say that again. If you're finding my channel for the first time today or starting watching my content recently, this YouTube channel started with what I called Survivor Retrospective. I set out with a goal to analyze, critique, and reflect on every season of Survivor, and in the process give every season a ranking. This turned into a grueling daily process leading into Survivor 41. Good news is that if you're interested in checking out the entire Survivor Retrospective series after this video is complete, I've made a playlist containing all the videos in the description. Anyways, with all that said, let's get into it.
Who will have what it takes to outwit, outplay, and outlast all the rest? This is Survivor 43.
The hype and excitement surrounding the release of Survivor 43 felt justified. Not like the hype we felt for Survivor Heroes vs. Villains, Winners at War, or sadly even Survivor 41. Just some good old pre-season excitement that Survivor is going to be back soon. And that's a huge reason why I feel so happy about how this season eventually turned out. No unrealistic expectations for a Survivor season, like what happens after every returning player season. No year-long hiatus for Survivor due to COVID, like what happened with Survivor 41. No sad realization that the hourglass twist will be back, like what happened with Survivor 42. Instead, Survivor 43 felt like a promise or even a compromise to the community from Jeff Probst about molding together a Survivor experience with aspects of the new era and old era. This personally was amazing to hear, because if you take away all the annoying noise of things like the hourglass, do or die twist, then we are left with, in my opinion, some strong Survivor seasons. Survivor 43, I walked away from every episode without complaints and loving the story I was watching unfold. But I don't know what it was, something felt missing. Today's video is all about praising the success of Survivor 43 while at the same time critiquing its many flaws and what was missing in the season. Oh yeah, and we are also giving away a Survivor buff at the very end of the video. So the ultimate question is, what went wrong with Survivor 43?
We're not done here. We're gonna stay here in the jungles of Fiji. Let's bring in that champagne, some fire. We've got pizza coming in. We're gonna sit down with everybody.
I need to be honest, I was stuck on how I wanted to tackle this video for a while, as I really couldn't put my finger on my problems with Survivor 43. And on the other side, there was truly so many things I did love about this season. It's okay to talk about now that we've distanced ourselves from Survivor 41 and Survivor 42, but holy shit, it felt so good to not see the hourglass and do or die twist return. Sure, Survivor 43 should still be considered a new era season of Survivor, with 26 days, beware advantages, no swaps, ship wheel island, earn the merge, knowledge is power, negotiating with Jeff or Rice, the Survivor Sanctuary, going to a new camp at the final 5, and the word scramble advantage come to the top of my head. But if I choose not to nitpick, all these ideas of the new era of Survivor are fine by me. Well, except for the knowledge is power, I really want that gone. And on the flip side of things, on top of the hourglass and do or die being replaced by things like the choose your champion advantage, we also saw the removal of Jeff Probst breaking the fourth wall and including way more rewards for the players throughout the season. At first glance, these things are all major positives, but I think as soon as the community heard we weren't smashing any hourglasses, we were quick to jump on board for whatever the season had to offer.
I'm glad each of you are here. I hope Survivor gives you what you seek, and I also hope you'll stay open to receiving what Survivor thinks you need.
This season started out on a pleasant surprise with 2 hours of action with only going to Tribal Council once, meaning we really got to settle down and understand the perspective of so many of the players we would come to enjoy watching for the coming weeks. And that's a true testament to the storytelling skills of the Survivor editors, as throughout the entire season they did a fantastic job balancing out the screen time and confessionals for all the players. In fact, no player on Survivor 43 would average below 2 confessionals per episode by the time they were voted out. Unlike previous seasons where it's easy to forget the early boots, that wasn't the case with Survivor 43. And unlike Survivor 41 where they may have over-edited the early boots and left out stories for the players in the final 4, that was not the case in Survivor 43. Now, do I wish I saw more of Gabler's gameplay? 100% yes. I still think Survivor producers need to find a better way of editing their winners into the story of the new era. We see Gabler basically giving up in the very first episode and willing to go home and turning it around into winning the game in the very end. Don't worry, we will touch on my thoughts on Gabler's win a little later in the video.
Everybody at home is going to have a hard time understanding why I wouldn't automatically play my immunity idle. But I was part of the loss, and therefore I'll be playing my shot in the dark because I should be at risk tonight.
And honestly, the rest of the Survivor 43 pre-merge was filled with fun TV moments. I can't say the same thing about the post-merge. I'll be more critical of that when we get there. But looking at the rest of the pre-merge, it felt like it flew by with every episode having a purpose. Cody not trusting the saleswoman Justine. Jesse and Cody struggling with voting out NECA. The paranoia that destroyed Lindsay's game. And overconfident Gio being voted out with the knowledge is power advantage. This also wasn't including things like the fun hidden immunity idol twist of players needing to gather beads, which was so interesting to see how all three tribes played this off differently. And this was a welcome change compared to the idol phrases we saw last season. On top of that, the 90-minute second episode really helped to continue flush out the characters, and it would be awesome to see more of these longer episodes in future seasons. In my opinion, at the halfway point in the game, Survivor 43 was on pace to be a top tier season with tons of momentum building up into the merge.
You received a note with Tree Mail telling you to drop your buffs. You also don't have your merge buffs yet because you have not made the merge. You're at the threshold where you're trying to transition from one stage of the game to the next.
Entering into the merge of Survivor 43, I was fully confident this season was going to be special. Look, if I'm starting to sound too negative, don't take it the wrong way. I did enjoy this post-merge. I was just hoping for more. We started strong with the Ellie versus Gabler conflict around camp and continued on pace with the advantage shuffle that took place due to the knowledge is power, leading into the interesting dynamics of the split groups, Noelle going out in heroic fashion, and the bromance between Cody and Jesse. These are all positive things, but like I said at the start of the video, something still felt missing from this season. I still couldn't figure out what that was, so I started rewatching my episode recaps. But I almost felt like the tribal council itself was a little bit meh. Jeff's gotta find a way to mix up the format of tribal councils. I'm just not having it with all these out there metaphors. Kind of a nothing tribal council, nothing really interesting going on. It became a common theme and a joke by the very end that practically every one of my recaps, I would say tribal council felt boring. Now there's obviously exceptions to this, but for the majority of the tribal councils, they were not too good this season. And this is a big negative, especially when tribal councils take anywhere between 10 to 15 minutes out of the rest of the episode. I found myself loving to watch these players strategize and interact around camp, but in the new era, you can't give anything away at tribal council, leading to a bunch of nothing and metaphors being said at tribal council. The current format of tribal needs to be changed to fit how the new era of Survivor works. With any story being told, the climax or final chapter is the most important part. If you aren't able to nail the conclusion of the story, then the viewer's gonna be left walking away disappointed. Although I love the episodes themselves this season, I walked away from the majority of the tribal councils of Survivor 43 simply bored. Tribal council for the first bit was kind of boring. I was like la 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 la. Once again, nothing negative to say about the final episode from a format standpoint, as it was non-stop action from beginning to end. Not gonna lie, I wasn't the biggest fan of the jury criticizing Cassidy for not giving up immunity, even though she had already won the challenge. But that's not in Jeff's control, that's on the players. And as a whole, the players of Survivor 43 were messy, but messy in a good way with having tons of Survivor Gabon upside. Sometimes they would play smart, sometimes they would play dumb, and sometimes I just couldn't understand how they were playing. As we all know, the cast of a Survivor season will make or break a season of Survivor, and these players had crazy heart all season. Jesse's the best player of the new era of Survivor and a great villain. We saw conflict all season with Cassidy versus Carla, Owen versus James, and Gabler versus Ellie. Talking about Gabler, we need to talk about his journey to the sole survivor and the journey of the Ellie Gabler.
And I'm gonna donate the entire prize, the entire $1 million in my father's name, Robert Gabler, who's a Green Beret, to veterans in need who are come back troubling from psychiatric problems, PTSD.
Yo, Gabler.
And to curb the suicide epidemic. We're gonna save lives and do something good. Season 43, all of us did this. $1 million is going to them.
Once again highlighting the importance of the social game with making the jury laugh the entire final tribal council, being able to explain his hiding in plain sight strategy, but like Erica in Survivor 41 and Marianne in Survivor 42, I wish the editing team would give us more to work with here with the winner of the season. Gabler talks tons at final tribal council about the the ride or die alliance with himself, Cody, and Jesse, and this being a key point in his game. But we didn't see much of this all season long. Maybe just like Gabler hiding in plain sight, the editors wanted to hide the win in plain sight from us. But we did see tons of fun editing tricks this season, like Owen telling us all the advantages left in the game, and Jesse going through his blindside checklist. Ultimately, Survivor 43 will be remembered as a controversial season by the community, as I can see so many fans hating this season, and at the same time other fans absolutely loving it. Me personally, I'm on the loving it bandwagon with so much heart coming from the players, but I also need to drop at tons of points with the weak tribal councils all season long. With another Survivor season all wrapped up, that means we have one more buff to give away. I really don't say this enough, but for all of you that are still watching this video, thank you. Whether it be subscribing to the channel, liking the video, commenting down below, checking out idle plays, or even clicking on the video, it means so much. And it feels so crazy that people are actually interested in what I have to say about my favorite show, Survivor. We'll be back with more giveaways with Survivor 44, but our final buff giveaway winner of the season is Pancake. My final rating for Survivor 43 is a 7.7 out of 10, B tier.